Hi everyone, and welcome back to Internet Racing School, or how I would like to say it, IRS Wolf. And right now I am in Wales at Llandow kart circuit. Today here happening, should it be a 12-hour race, but because it turned up only I think 12 teams, and only 10 of them could get out for a race. So today we have do we have 2 4-hour races? Yeah. So today, and food. again, look at that, guys. Look at that. How these people prepare it. Yeah. Right. So today we have 2 4-hour races. And the championship called, what is the name of the championship?
I've no idea.
RAF Enduro.
This is the RAFMSA. But
RAFMSA.
This is a special one-off to celebrate the centenary.
Oh, so this one to celebrate centenary.
It's not part of the point scoring. This isn't. That's why it's not a very good turnout, unfortunately. There's usually about 45, 50 carts.
45, 50
during
cars?
the championship, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so yes, unfortunately today we have only 10 cars. Usually this event gather about 40 up to, I think up to 40 cars we're allowed to do that, but maybe 50, I'm not sure. We will find out about it, guys. And as usually here with me, Sticky Monkeys, my friends already in the go-kart. Here we go. What we have there? Monkeys Motorsport. Right, guys, so let's go today and let's find out more and more information.
Come back and have some food.
Hold that record.
Right, so first of all, I have a question. You are the owner of the circuit?
Yeah, the circuit, yeah.
You own the circuit. So can you tell me a little bit about your race history?
So my race history is I started when I was 8 years old. Started in first class of Karting's cadets, so that's age 8 to 12 year olds. They've got a new class now which is called Bambino, which is for kids who are younger than that now, which has been introduced about 3 or 4 years ago, but originally it was cadets, so that was age 8 to 12. And then I stepped up from that to juniors, so I did junior road tax, which is a 125 cc water-cooled engine.
How was the results with the juniors?
It was okay. I did it in Super 1 for a few years, which is the British Car Championship, and did alright in that. I think the highest finish was 7th, which was
7th?
Yeah, which wasn't too bad. And then I used to find that I wasn't very good at sprinting's all about being really good at starting races and getting your way to the front really quickly, and I found that I struggled with that. And then my mechanic introduced me to endurance racing, which is what they do with pro karts here, and it's just with that it's a lot easier to you don't have to start slow because it's a longer race. You can set yourself a pace and just chip away at it and be more consistent. That's what endurance racing is about, is being consistent rather than out and out pace. It's a lot easier.
Can you tell us a little bit about this championship?
Yeah, so basically it started back when I was 16, 15. I think there was 6 karts on the grid, and we brought 5 or 6 with us to help push it on. I've done it ever since then, and it's grown from like 6 to 8 karts to now the championship normally has 40 plus karts on the grid. So
40 plus.
So it's grown a lot. This circuit is 1,150 meters.
And it's going to accept 40 cars.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
the MSA most circuits maximum limit is 40 karts.
Yeah.
Under the permit. You can get some which are 43, 44. But I mean, yeah, the RAF Endurance Championship's grown a lot over the years. You've got a lot more people interested. You get a lot more because it's split between service teams, which are just people who are in the armed forces race in their own team, or you get civvy teams, which are like my team, myself, and my co-driver who's not part of the RAF, but they still allow us to join in and race, which is nice. I mean, they don't have to, but they do. And it's got a lot more competitive. I mean, I've done really well in it in the last few years. I didn't do too well last year. Lost my championship, I wasn't too happy about it. So hopefully come out and win it back again this year. But it just shows how far the championships come, because it's a lot more competitive than it used to be when I first started.
And can I ask you, RAF, what is the history behind these letters, RAF?
It's the Royal Air Force.
Why they decided to do this championship?
I think, well, originally they set it up just for the RAF to do it, which is why it was called the RAF Endurance Championship. But now it's called the Inter-Service Championship, so it means that teams from the RAF can do it, teams from the Navy can do it if they want, or teams from the Army. So it's all the armed forces are allowed to enter their own teams into the championship if they want. So
and the civil teams can.
Yeah.
As well.
So I mean, they've limited the civil teams a lot over the last few years because they've had so many entries of different armed forces wanting to do it. So they've cut back a lot on that, but they have still kept a few civvy teams in there to keep it spiced up, I think. But no, the forces teams have definitely got a lot better over the last 2-3 years. It's made it a lot more competitive as well, which is really good.
So can you just briefly take me through the Lando circuit? So on this map, can you take me through the racing line?
No problem. So this is actually the start finish straight here, and where the grid forms up. This is where the start finishes. So come out of the pit straight down here. This is into the hook. So you hug this on the right hand side. You've come down on the left hand side, turned in quite late. Down on the right. Let the car flow out around there, and then you're trying to kiss the apex on the back of the turn. As you come back through here, it's not so obvious on this drawing. It's more of a pronounced bend, but you really have to be in close to the tyres there, so you're just kissing the curb as well, riding over it. Come out down here, now around to the right hand side. Stay in right, dab the brakes slightly there, settle the throttle, come in tight. It's more of a later apex.
Later apex.
Kissing the back of it. So I stay tight to this inner curb rather than drifting too far out wide. You can carry more speed that way, but it tends to be, if you stay tighter there, you carry more speed here. This is quite an awkward bend. Again, it's more pronounced than this drawing indicates. But as you come around here, it's about staying disciplined and wide, straightening it up, and then trying to carry speed through here. This is nice, foot flat to the floor. It's
flat out
all the way out. And then this is a really tricky bend here, really awkward run off. Just lifting as I'm coming up, settling the car, back on, come round. It's just because the run off, if you do need to use it, it's quite bumpy, and if you're even a metre too, you need a metre too much, you're into the dirt. Down here, settling the car into here. You kiss this curb on the right hand side, so middle sort of apex. Get a lot of braking done into the next one. If you can, you ride up on the curbs around this part.
Braking after the first apex, yes?
So after the first apex, braking in this sort of area here as you come across. Kissing it, riding round, kissing it, riding round, one sort of arc turn. Come out of here, and then you steer to the left and then straight back to the right, so you can ride this curb as well. You come right out here, up onto the curb. Your left hand side of your car will be on the curb, and you're really close to the tyres. And you come down the main straight. There's a couple of sort of markers there, the main one being where the tarmac's been replaced. That's my braking point. Brake quite hard because there's not a lot of braking power in it. and then just coast through. As soon as you've hit the apex, back on the power, out, try not to go too wide, and then you're back in.
I didn't realise he's the track owner.
Oh, is he? Oh, well, no wonder I can't beat him. That's a bit unfair, isn't it? It's only the first and second time I've been there. When you came by him on the first one, whatever mistake you made, he started to shake his head.
What we should do, we should get those paper ties over there. That one slips off, we can let them bring him in again.
Let's do it. Let's go do it.
Alright guys, we have a 1 hour break, and just next to the kart circuit there is a very interesting place, so I'll finish my ice cream and I'll take you there.
Okay, well I'll start with where we traditionally start a racetrack, which will be at the start and finish line. So when you start, at this part of the track, you want to be hugging, hug this curb as close as possible, and you really want to try and straight line it, and then you're aiming for turning entry at about this point. And here it's flat out, so in a pro kart like we've just been racing, at this point it's completely flat out. Apex just off the curb here, just here. You're aiming to stay about here in the middle of the track, just before you get here, and about here you're starting to trail brake and you're coming in and you're aiming really probably about here you want to be, and then just as the track dips in here you're trying to just hit this spot here, and you're just going to cut straight over this concrete as much as that's possible, and just don't hit that tyre, and you're trying to keep it straight for the apex on the left now, just about here, and just keep hugging the corner, let the kart drift out right over here. If you want to stay wide here, use this part of the track, even though it doesn't really look like part of the track, but you're going to stay a little bit wide just off this, because you want to be carrying as much speed as possible. So some people will come in tight, they'll scrub a lot of speed off, and you just want to really start drifting over here and just keep it to the right. All the grip on the track is actually on the inside, so you want to really hug it. You're trail braking really, you're not really like slamming the brakes on, because you just unsettle the car, and then you're going to get on the power and you're just hugging this bend. Probably, so you can go on the curb, but I prefer not to, just because it unsettles the kart. And so yeah, about here it's just flat out all the way now. It's pretty start, it's almost a straight, you know, you're not really doing anything. But here you'd start to come out, and really now you wanna be here on the track. Probably gonna just gently brake, just slightly, just to keep the kart settled. Absolutely hug this. You can go over that a little bit maybe. Yeah, you're right over here, and you got to be careful, because if you end up on that, it's a bit hairy. It'll do your back in, you know, you don't want back injury. So here you're flat, absolutely flat, and you're going to be flat until you're into this bend really, because if you're aggressive you're gonna just completely go over this curb and probably end up with your wheel over here on the grass. And you're braking now really heavily. Turn in, you've done your heavy braking, and you're gonna probably put your left wheel just over that curb, and it will hook you in. You've gone over that curb and you're gonna aim straight for this curb, right into a slow hairpin. So you're over this curb, flat out, it's really bumpy, it's horrible. Probably be running up on this slightly. But again, just like the curb over there that I mentioned, if you end up there, you're into that tyre wall, which straight down there, flat, longest straight on the circuit, straight into a right hand hairpin. So yeah, this is really the entry into the hairpin, the final bend of the circuit, and you'd, in a pro kart, start braking just here. For me personally, I use the brake a lot to turn in. I do a lot of turning on the brake. You've done your braking, it's heavy. Here, you're going to start accelerating now. You're just going to hug this, and just go out wide onto the main straight, and that's the lap, really.
So while I've been eating my ice cream and watching the supercars at the car circuit, the race 2, the second race, 4 hours started already. I missed first start, I missed second start, but that's okay, that's normal. This video should be different than the others. I'm gonna find out more and more information here at Llandow circuit.
I think it depends on the track conditions. It's like first thing this morning the track was long.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And then after about half an hour of that first race,
Yeah.
the track
And
the pace of the track.
I assume that's
tyre side.
tyres going up.
Yeah, that I think
Combination,
a combination of that. So I think that affects now it's cooling down.
Yeah.
Now this is good information.
This man, he's very fast.
Send the invoice. That's the leader. No, that's the leader. Have done well.
Okay, so this is the corner number 1. So yeah, so let's talk about corner number 1.
So corner number 1, tricky corner, very, very fast. Generally it's flat out, but as seen today, we're doing endurance racing, it's really, really hot. So the car starts to slide, the tyres are going off. So sometimes, depending on track conditions, it may be quicker to just let off. You're not sliding too much when you need to be under heavy braking for the immediate left afterwards. And then the important thing, as with any complex of corners, it's about getting the right setup, the right entry into the following corner, because you want to get a good exit going down the next straights. Hug the tyre wall as close as you can, so you go as far over that curb as you can, aiming for the curb across on the other side where there's a slight left kink.
On the left kink.
Which leads onto the straight down to the following complex of corners. Okay, so you finished the first kind of bus stop,
Yep.
complex of corners, and then you've headed down this straight, okay, into what it is. Effectively, it's a long hairpin, but it's a double 90 left corner, so you need to apex it twice. Initially, you stay off the curbs. Coming into this corner here, your focus is actually the exit of the next double right-hander to get a really good exit onto the back straight. This corner, however, is a bit more technical, and you can really, if you get it right, you can gain a lot of time, and if you get it wrong, you can lose a lot of time as well. So from where we were before, it kind of looked like a hairpin.
Yeah.
But if you look at the corner now, you can see that it actually sticks out further at the far apex. So as with any hairpin, you'd want to do a late apex, you know, kind of 3/4 away around the bend. But actually, because of the rubber on the track and the grip on the outside isn't very much. So you actually want to be running quite a tight line round here. Nice late apex here. And if you set the kart up right into it, you've done your braking, nice and smooth turning, and then immediately full on the power just as you're tightening up to get the right apex, and then really smooth on the exit, aiming to get as close to that exit curb as you can, but definitely, as I say, definitely don't touch the exit curb. So after this corner, the track really starts to get quite exciting. So it goes downhill, down this straight. It's not perfectly straight, there's a kink in it, and the bottom corner is, I think it's called Chandler's, and that's effectively a 90 right, but it's off camber, slight dab of the brakes, sets the kart up really nice for the corner, so the back end just starts to turn round just under braking, and then you catch that with the throttle, and then you just have a nice little slide around it, but carrying the speed. So the second to last complex, it's a right, left, right onto the straight. So another sort of tight bus stop in effect, and you hit all 3 curbs. And so you go around the foot, so you brake into it. You'll hug the tyre wall as close as you can, riding up over the curb. It will unsettle it, so you'll have a little jump in the seat. And then you've got a slightly longer, tighter left-hander.
Yeah.
And you'll try and get onto the curb with that. You'll exit that as tight as you can, and then you've got a big curb over on the right, and you'll just turn the car as smooth as you can, but you need to do it relatively quickly because you're going pretty quick, and it is still quite a tight corner. And you'll aim to put it as high up onto that curb as possible, and you're absolutely flat out round that final right-hander, leading onto the straight.
What you can say about this hairpin?
Yeah, so the final hairpin, so obviously you're carrying a lot of speed into here. You want to be really hard on the brakes, so you probably just lock in the brake, and then if you just do that, the back can step out, and then what you're looking for is to apex this hairpin in the middle of the hairpin, aiming to run out as wide as you can of the circuit, and running over, as that car there just did, running as far over the final curb, the exit curb, as possible. So you're really making the most of the track.
Into the places then. In 3rd place, Kart 37, Why So Serious?
It's like being at a wedding.
And in the usual tradition in all our racing we've done over the years, we invite people to come and race with us. Then they come and spank our arse. Okay? So we've got Monkey Motorsports come up from Rye House, really good to see them. So Kart 33 finishing in 2nd place. Well done, guys. Thumbs? Oh yeah. No. The only bit in the meeting that does remain standard is the winner. Okay. Kart 96, Nick winning on his home turf. I'm surprised at that one. You know, he only spends I don't know how many hours a day practicing. So if he can't get it right today, then. Sorry?
It is.
Well, years, yeah. So, Nick, if you'd like to come up with your team, Kart 96.
Ooh, look at that.
But Jen, there is a bottle for you, okay?
Hey!
Oh, Good man. Shot him low.
So I'm just going to explain the lines you should take around this circuit on this map over here.
What is the lap record?
Lap record is 50.1.
50.1.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quick. So, can we talk about racing line on this big map?
yeah, of course. So, if you were, so here's the start finish line. So, if you were coming from out on the dummy grid down here over the start finish line, the line you take into this first corner here is literally go out wide here and then flick the kart so it goes near. There's a serrated curb there. Run alongside that, and then literally just go up, keep to the right slightly, and then when you get to the right, up to the top on the right, you literally turn left and you want to aim. There's a curb on the inside here, and you want to aim to run alongside that, and you come out wide to basically out that way, and then as to get the best line for through this bit, you would go back over to the left, and then literally flick over this curb on the right, and then there's another curb here, and you'd run your back wheel across it here. Sorry. And then as you come out, you'd let the kart drift across out wide on the right hand side, and you want to literally stay like that unless you're overtaking someone to that line anyway, and then you want to brake literally about opposite where it says Surtees would be where you want to hit the brakes, and then as you hit the brakes you just let the kart drift in a bit, and then you turn it left, and then as you brake you get back on, you turn in, and to settle the kart down and make it better through the corner you literally dab the throttle just to settle the back end down, and then you'd be back on the power about just on the exit of the corner there, and then as you come out you want to be drifting out to the right, so you want to be literally on the inside line there, and then you'd be flat out all the way through here. Literally you don't want to go all the way to the left, then you want to be in the middle of the circuit where the arrow is, come out wide, and then literally as you see the apex of the corner you want to literally turn right and literally hold the inside the whole way around, dabbing the throttle, and then you'd be back on the power flat out as the exit of the corner there, and then you drift out to the right, to the left, sorry, and there's a curb there which you just want to run slightly with your back wheel, and you go down all the way around the outside, flat out, flat out, flat out, and then as you come in here you want to be in the middle of the circuit where it says Chandler's here, you want to be in the middle here, and literally you just touch the brakes, and then as soon as you hit the brakes you're back on the power flat out through here, and then you drift out to the left, up Spitfire straight, all the way to the left, all the way to the left, and as you get to about 50 metres before there's a curb on the right there, you hit the brakes there, flick right, get the kart over the whole of the curb there, keep it out to the right, and then you dab the throttle through here, and then you're back on the power by there, hug round to the left, flat round all there, then you get over the curb to the right, flat out down there, and then you drift out to the left again, and then you literally go all the way up here, flat out, all the way down on the left hand side, and then you want to brake about where it says just after Spitfire 8, you want to start braking there, and then you literally brake, coast in, turn right, dab the throttle through there, hug the curb slightly through there, drift out wide, and then literally come back and go to the start finish line, and that's the quickest way to get around the circuit.
Okay guys, so this is it. We finished another event and another video about Lion King, about racing line, and I hope you like it. If you do, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe on my channel. More subscribers we have, better video we have, of course. And yeah, so this is it, and just look at that, you see all that supercars which I showed you before. So I'm thinking I'm definitely gonna come back at this circuit, and not only for the go-karts but maybe for that racing equipment as well. Looks nice. So yeah, this is it for this week, and as usually, see ya.
And we'll see you all at Warrior.
Lando.